Howdy. Hello, everybody. Sorry, we had a little glitch there right at the start, but
right at the start with Facebook. But we're good now.
We're good now. We got it all fixed up. So thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. We're so glad y'all are here. We've been really excited to do this for several weeks. And so today we're just going to do a little bit of a live chat with someone that we actually met online. Her name is Emily, and she's going to be joining us shortly. But we kind of met Emily through Instagram. She is also a Noom nerd, as we like to call ourselves, people who have used the Noom app. But she has really been working on a healthy lifestyle journey the way we have for almost the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
We started in March of 2019, and she started in May
2019.
But it's been really fun to watch her journey over the last year. And we just reached out to her and said, you know what, Emily, you have inspired us so much. We would love to introduce you to our followers. We are always doing what we can to just stay positive during this pandemic and give people some, hopefully, motivation and inspiration to take the next step on your journey, whatever that might be. So
we are super excited to share. So we thought we'd do a little intro to let you guys kind of see who Emily is.
Yeah, so here's a little video that we put together with some of the pictures that Emily sent us of her healthy lifestyle journey. Okay, so that's just a very quick glimpse of Emily's weight loss and healthy lifestyle journey. And
Did you guys see she's lost 191 and actually now up to 194 pounds.
Is that unbelievable?
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's absolutely incredible. So we're excited for you to meet Emily. So welcome, Emily.
Here she is.
Good morning. Hello. How are y'all?
We're doing well.
Great. So, Emily, we are just very thankful for you to take the time out to do this little chat with us here today. And I also just want to give a shout out to you and to all of our essential workers, especially those in healthcare. Emily is a traveling labor and delivery nurse, and she can tell you more about where she is today as we get started here. But let us just start by saying thank you so much for everything that you and all of your colleagues have been doing throughout this pandemic.
Well, thank you. I do it because I love it. Can't go wrong in labor and delivery either.
No, it's a happy spot, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah. Well, tell us just a little bit about yourself and where you are today, where you're from, a little bit of your background.
So I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 13 years. I'm originally from Alabama, but I've been traveling since 2013. And currently I'm in Los Angeles, which this is the 4th or 5th time I've come out here to work. So between here and Nashville are probably my 2 favorite places to work. But I've been here actually since the week the whole lockdown coronavirus pandemic started. So been inside a lot.
Wow. And as you're joining us on this live broadcast, we always like to see where everybody else is from. So Emily's out in LA today. We are at our home in Crete, Nebraska. And we'd love to know where you're watching from as well. So
I see we have some folks, somebody from Montana watching, and somebody in Oklahoma watching, and Iowa. So welcome to everybody watching. And we got some Noom nerds on with us. So everybody's kind of curious as to what's going on.
Awesome. Well, Emily, tell us a little bit about how did all of this kind of get started for you? What motivated you to kind of get on a healthy lifestyle journey?
So I had high blood pressure since my mid-20s, and I have a long family history of that and diabetes and obesity, honestly. And it wasn't until a trip home last year, actually from here back home in April, and I went and saw my doctor, and he's like, "Oh, guess what? You finally have diabetes." I was like, "Great." So I was really bummed about that, obviously. And the plane ride home wasn't the first time, but I mean, I hadn't been able to buckle my seatbelt in a long time. And I was honestly just too embarrassed to ask for a seatbelt extender. So I just tucked my seatbelt under my shirt, whatever. And probably a few weeks later, I had a lunch actually with one of my cousins, and she had done Noom, and she had lost about 30 pounds. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. I'll give it a try. But I'm going on a cruise in a couple weeks, so I should wait. And I didn't. I started it, and I ended up losing even like 4 or 5 pounds on a week-long cruise. And I was like, this is something that I can do and fit into like real life and real.
Now say that again. So you went on a cruise.
Yeah.
And you lost.
Yeah.
What?
Like 4 or 5 pounds I think it was week 3 of Noom, but I mean, it just goes to show that it's something you can use in real life.
Yes.
It's not, don't eat this, don't eat
Okay,
that.
so that was a quick motivator right out of the gate.
Absolutely. So I lost like 9 pounds the very first month, and that's not the most I've ever lost in my life, but it was, I don't want to say easy, but it was easy in that it wasn't the so restrictive. And that's what I think kept me going, got me hooked.
Yeah. Had you tried other weight loss programs throughout your life, or was this kind of your first?
Absolutely. I've done, can I say all the things I've done? Of course, there's Weight Watchers out there. I did Nutrisystems for a while. I did MetaFast. I probably had the most success with, but I mean, it's literally 5 powder drinks a day and like 1 real meal. And that I got down to my lowest like adult weight. And I think I got down to like 190, but literally, a week later, you finish, you get to your goal, and then you go back to normal eating. But I never relearned what normal eating should be or relearned like the proper way to eat. I just was always eating because I was bored or because I wanted to, or it was there. So I gained that back and more easy. That was in college. And that was probably the last time I really tried was college.
Yeah.
Maybe one other time, but it wasn't ever anything sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we started our journey just a couple months, I think, before you did, which was so cool. And I think what motivated us was we just sort of been on this free for all lifestyle, like
where we just did whatever we wanted.
Yeah, we just were out of control. Like if
Here,
it looked
hand me the butter.
If it looked good, we ate it. And our daughter was coming home for a weekend, and she was really trying to just adopt a more healthy lifestyle herself. And we said, well, let's do this for a weekend to encourage her. And we did it for a weekend, and it wasn't awful. And we kind of looked at each other.
It wasn't wonderful either. But we looked at each other on Monday and said, we really probably should make a change.
Right.
And like you, I think I know as we started talking and met you, we know that you also love travel the way we do. I think we were also seeing our weight, our lifestyle, the way we were just kind of out of control was really starting to impact our travels, and we weren't able to do things we wanted to do. Like you, I was dreading airline flights and having to ask for an extra seatbelt extender, or, the glares that you get from people when you walk down the aisle, like, oh, I hope this large person isn't sitting next to me. We see those things and they're hurtful, and you should never do that.
Right.
But things were just becoming more and more, I think, difficult. And we just kind of decided, like, there's a lot of world we want to see and a lot of things we want to do. And if we really want to do those and do them to and have the full experience, we want to feel better and not let health become an issue. So I think we were kind of on the same page with you with that. Yeah.
I just want to jump in. Karen Booth just commented that she started Noom 8 days ago and she's lost 8 pounds already. So
wow, that's it. Now, I will say there are lots.
It won't stay that way.
There are lots of ups and downs on Noom. And and we're going to get to that because a lot of people asked about those plateaus and things. So, Emily, can you tell us, and maybe Steve, you can start and talk about what role exercise played in our journey, and then Emily, I'd be interested to see what role exercise and just movement in general has played in your success.
So for us with exercise, we really didn't do it for the first, probably 7 or 8 months that we were on Noom. And Noom does encourage exercise, and it gives a step counter. And we did pay attention to how many steps we were going, but we didn't really intentionally exercise other than trying to make sure we got a few more steps today than yesterday. But if we didn't, then we didn't lose sleep over it.
Which for me at the beginning was like, if I got 2,000 steps, it was a lot. Right. I was very sedentary.
But what we did do is we focused in on our eating habits, because for us to conquer creating exercise habits and creating eating habits all at once was going to be just very overwhelming. So we just focused on the eating. And we also learned that 90% of weight loss is a change in diet and not so much the exercise. And so we really focused on that, and we lost some weight. And by doing that, it actually made, when we started exercising then, and we sort of said, we've got our eating habits now set, let's try some exercise habits. And it made the exercise a lot easier when we weren't, hauling an extra 50 pounds around with us.
Yeah, I think we didn't start exercising till we lost almost 70 pounds by December. But I think we also started to learn some of the health benefits of exercise. So even if it wasn't contributing maybe as much as we thought it might to weight loss, it still had so many other amazing health benefits that it's really become worth it and a part of our lifestyle. So tell us a little bit about how exercise has played a role in your healthy lifestyle journey, Emily.
Well, for me, at my highest 350 last May, all I could do was walk on the treadmill. So literally for the first 100 pounds I lost, I just walked on the treadmill for an hour, like 3 to 4 days a week. And then I was actually in Nashville working a contract, and I came across this 6-week challenge in the new year. And I was like, well, I've lost 100 pounds. I can do that. And then it literally kicked my butt, but it gave me a perspective and, an eye on something new that I could try. And wow, at the end of it, I did it, which was crazy. So after that, then I moved back to California, and I've been using an online trainer since then. So that gives me accountability. And also in the pandemic, the start of quarantine, I started running. So I've gone from running like barely to my corner at the beginning of quarantine, and the other day I ran a 10K, which was like nuts to me without stopping. So I'm like, perspective is everything. And it just feels so good to move. Like days that even like today is my just normal, I guess people would call it a rest day, but for me it's active recovery. So I'll still go on a walk later just to get the steps. The steps do so much. Like you don't think about it, but if there are days when I'm low on steps, I'm like, man, I feel like a bum.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would agree.
And I think the other thing that the steps do is they, one of the things I like about the Noom app is I sync it to my Apple Watch or any Fitbit device, and it will calculate your steps for you. And then depending on how many calories you burn, it will give you some of those, not all of them, but some of those back in your daily calorie budget in your meal. So I always say, like, I walk for, dessert, or I walk for a glass of wine.
People say, how do you do 1,200 calories a day? Well,
I don't.
We don't. We walk and we earn extra calories that way.
So. But that brings us to one of the questions that we've gotten from a lot of people is kind of like, what do our daily meal like, what do you eat in a day? So do you want to go through maybe just a typical day of some of the things that you eat? Because I think that's always the curiosity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was having a conversation with my cousin yesterday just about how much food I ate, and it was barely 1,500 calories, I guess. I think that was yesterday. But I'm really into overnight oats right now, so obviously that's carbs. And I always put peanut butter in my overnight oats. And I think a lot of people think peanut butter is so fattening and it's so awful, but literally it's fine. Everything is fine.
Delicious.
It's delicious. Extra crunchy, by the way, is the way to go. But, everything in moderation is fine. So that with some eggs and some veggies. I usually do mushroom and spinach in my omelets in the morning. And then lunch and dinner.
So let me stop you, Emily. Do you do eggs and veggies and the overnight oats?
Yes.
So like how many calories is your breakfast?
Usually between 300 and 400.
Okay.
So not a ton. I mean, the overnight oats are like 150, and I use coconut almond milk as a base.
Okay.
So that's like 20 calories. And then egg whites are, so low in calories. And then mushrooms, veggies, spinach.
Just like
How much as you want of that?
Yeah. And I'll
Okay.
do sometimes like cottage cheese is good, or even like Greek yogurt with fruit. I know y'all do a lot of yogurt and fruit, like parfaits, granola, and grape nuts, right?
Yes, grape
nuts
nuts
instead of granola.
Yeah, I really wanted granola, but I could not find a low-cal granola.
Because of that crunch.
I tried to make it, and I just, without all the fat and sugar, it just wasn't coming out right. Grape nuts. One tablespoon is
25 calories.
25 calories gives us a nice little crunch.
The way to go. And then, of course, like cinnamon and anything like that, you can always
that's free.
Make it fancy.
But. Okay, so tell me about, do you do snacks throughout the day, or do you just kind of keep it to meals?
So I do a protein shake only because I work out pretty, I don't want to say strenuously, but I do a good workout every day or a run. So I do that, but I don't do it as a meal replacement. It's more just like extra to help with the recovery of that. And then generally lunch or dinner is going to be, a wrap or like protein and potato. I literally eat potatoes or rice every single day. And I think that's important to know that you can and that I do. So potatoes, rice, meat, chicken, beef, pasta, whatever, every day.
So tell me about your potatoes. How do you prepare your potatoes? Do you cover them in sour cream and bacon and cheddar cheese, or what do you do with them?
So I do if I do like I guess a white potato, I'll usually do it roasted. So cut it up, some olive oil cooking spray, because that's no calories, obviously, unless you use the whole can. But that, and I have this McCormick, it's like pink Himalayan sea salt, garlic. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So that roasted, or I'll do even a plain baked potato. But if you got to use sour cream, fat free, it's always different options of that. And I know some people do like Greek yogurt, but fat-free sour cream is fine.
Yeah.
And then sweet potatoes, though. Sweet potatoes are my jam. I'll eat those probably 4 days a week. And those, cinnamon, Splenda. I don't need the butter.
Nice. Yeah.
People at work, they say it smells like Christmas in the break room when I make my lunch, because it's always a sweet potato with cinnamon.
Oh, I love that. So what do you take?
I'd say you said something interesting, that everything in moderation. There's nothing that's bad. And that's one of the things that Noom has taught us, is that there are no such thing as bad foods. It's just too much of something.
Right.
And you just got to pay attention to how many calories for how full something makes you. And so you kind of aim for those low calorie dense foods, fruits and vegetables. They're great.
Yeah.
So then do you usually have any snacks throughout the day? And what would you do for a snack?
So I like to make smoothies. Those aren't necessarily, sometimes they're meals depending on what all's in them. I mean, like Greek yogurt, obviously going to make it heavier and more filling. But smoothies, I love apples. I love grapes. Grapes are my, man, if they were bad for me, I would be in trouble, but they're not.
They're our go-to also. In fact, we've gotten to the point now where when we get grapes at the store, we just wash them immediately, let them dry, and then we put them in like a colander in the fridge, just open, because I have found that that's such a nice, when I'm just like late afternoon, when I'm hungry and I want a snack, if I open the door and they're just right there, accessible,
ready to go,
2 calories each. They've also been good for us for comparison reasons.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things we'll do is, one time Anne wanted this little chocolate when we visited her grandma.
Oh, yeah.
And she was
those little
Hershey's nuggets.
Oh,
and we looked at it, and it was 50 calories for that little chocolate. And Anne thought to herself at first, you know what? I've got the calories. That sounds great. And then she realized that's 25 grapes. I would rather have 25 grapes than one little Hershey's nugget. And so there it was.
It's funny because a lot of people at work have asked me about Noom, and I mean friends as well, but one of the favorite comparisons I tell them, and I think it's literally like day 2 of Noom in one of the lessons, but it was, you can have like this many grapes or a tiny box of raisins, and the raisins are going to be, there's way more calories, they're less filling, or you can have all these grapes. And it's it's so much better. So I use that one all the time. They're like grapes, yeah, whatever, but it's a good visual, I think.
Yeah. So I think, do you want to talk about like what we eat in a day, what a typical day looks like, and how we do it as a couple that's different with I'm still losing weight and you have been on maintenance. So do you want to talk about our daily kind of meals?
So breakfast and lunch are pretty typically the same because
when we're home.
I typically like a bigger sort of evening meal. That's been my life and the way I like to live. And
I like to snack all day.
She's a grazer all day.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. It works. Mm-hmm. So she'll have the grapes or she'll have a banana or an apple. But for breakfast, if it's cold out like it is now, we might do oatmeal with berries, and we measure out 1 teaspoon of brown sugar because we like a little sweet in there, and it's that real thing, and it's 17 calories, and so we count it in there.
Cinnamon.
But we measure it, and then some cinnamon on top. Lunch, we've done either a bowl of soup, like a broth-based soup, or else we'll do a
sandwich.
A sandwich on some Nature's Own bread with some measured out turkey and whatnot, and then an apple on the side, a Honey Crisp apple, which are
amazing right now.
Especially this time of year, yeah,
they're the go-to right now, aren't they?
They're the perfect balance of sweet and tart. Honey Crisps are the bomb.
Yeah. And we've learned with our sandwiches or almost any meal is just adding vegetables. Like we add vegetables to everything. We don't have eggs with cheese and bacon now. We have eggs with mushrooms and peppers and onions and asparagus and things like that, because adding vegetables just gives you so much more bulk and fullness without a lot of calories.
Yeah.
And then what about supper?
So supper time, we'll do sort of the same sides. We might grill some peppers and onions, or we'd roast potatoes on the grill. There's a really good way to do it, which we've discovered, slice them very thinly. We use a mandolin slicer, and then we just, again, the olive oil spray like you were talking, and then some seasoning mix that we got from a place in Kansas City, and then we grill those, and they almost taste like potato chips when they come out at the end. But
so good.
But they don't have any of the calories of potato chips, of course. They just have what a potato would have. Or else we'll roast them in chunks. So those are some asparagus maybe on the side. And then I will do maybe a pork chop, and Anne will have a piece of fish.
Mostly because I prefer fish.
She prefers fish to pork chops, but pork chops are higher in calories than is fish. And so I kind of make up some of the calories that I can have for maintenance with a little bigger entree or a little something different than what Anne has, but we sort of still work together to keep us going. And then if we have calories at night, which we typically do, we do a little bowl of ice cream.
Yeah. So we had a question from Says the Dine
on Instagram
that says, how do you balance desserts? How do you enjoy eating it without eating too much? So Emily, are you a dessert person? Do you like your sweets?
I've always been more of a savory person. So I've always been like, okay, a smaller steak instead of the 10-ounce ribeye. That's how I would balance it out. But honestly, if you have the calories, like Noom gives you like the green, the yellow, and the red, like what you should try to balance out your day. But if you have the calories, if you're a person that needs something sweet every day, you make it fit into your day so that you're not at the end like, oh, I feel guilty. Because you should never feel guilty about enjoying food.
No.
Yeah. We had Steve's mom and dad here a few weeks ago for a socially distanced outdoor lunch, and it was his dad's birthday, and he loves angel food cake. So we made angel food cake and had mixed berries and Cool Whip and that type of thing with it. But what I like to do when I know I have a dessert coming, or maybe it's our anniversary and we're getting a nothing but cake, I like to put that in first thing in my daily budget. So if I know I'm going to have that tonight for our anniversary, I just load it in as my evening snack or my dinner first, and then I sort of backtrack back from that.
Backfill from there, so it all works in.
Yeah, and we've learned that for us, desserts, it's like, I eat things that I like.
Mhm.
So we had tried kind of a low fat, low sugar ice cream, and yeah, we could have a bigger portion, but it didn't taste good.
Right.
So we just do like the low fat Kemp's ice cream, but a small portion. And then maybe I'll fill up my bowl more with fresh strawberries and have a little bit of ice cream instead of a lot of ice cream and a little bit of strawberries, that sort of thing. But we still eat regular desserts, not as often, but definitely now and then. We'll make cookies and have an oatmeal raisin cookie, or what else have we done for desserts? Well, I mean, we've done nothing but cake.
Yeah.
But we had our anniversary in August, and we did just one of the small nothing but cakes, and we split it in half. So by just only bringing home a portion that we know we couldn't have more because we didn't bring it home, that has helped us. But what we did with that one, I think it was 600 calories for the whole thing, and we split it. We each got like, I don't know, 4 or 5 bites. And we decided we wanted to get another one for his birthday in September. And we're like, I kind of like my whole cake.
The whole cake.
So we just budgeted the 600 calories and went for it.
Yeah.
Still stayed within our budget, but got to really enjoy that dessert for that one night.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely important.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments if you have other questions for us. We're using some of the questions we got through Facebook and Instagram earlier this week. But if you have a question you'd like to ask Emily or us or all three of us, just let us know in the comments section there, and we'll get to it. Also, if there's a topic we're talking about, like dessert, and you have some good ideas, please post those in the comments to share those with other people who are watching this video live or later on today.
That's right. For instance, Jill said frozen banana slices blended makes a yummy dessert, which would
really?
be a very good one.
I actually just put some bananas in the freezer. I might have to try that.
Yeah.
Do you do it just plain? You just blend it up and
that's what it looks like.
Maybe it's like a pudding or custard. Cool.
Karen asked, how do we figure out our favorite recipe, like a soup where you only don't know the portion size? So I went online, Karen, and I found a recipe calculator. I think it's Spark Recipes, and you put the recipe in and you tell them how many servings it makes, and then it tells you all the nutritional information for that. So I'll Spark Recipes, I think is what it was. I'll try to find it and put a link in here later.
Yeah,
we've
done that a lot. We've done that a lot. We're not big recipe users. I don't usually cook with recipes a lot, but as we've made some homemade soups and things, I've found ways to make them lower calorie by like just adding more broth, adding more vegetables, cutting the meat in half, that sort of thing. And so there are ways to put those into that calculator. That's a great question. Okay, so let me see some of these other questions. I know one thing we definitely wanted to touch on, and we did just a bit with your example of our meal plan, but is maintenance. So Emily, 194, that was kind of your goal. You got there. And tell me again, how many months did that take you to lose 194 pounds?
So my initial goal was technically 191 pounds, which was 15 months it took me. So
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I still don't believe it, honestly. But the first month of maintenance, I lost another 3 pounds, which is a conversation between my goal specialist and I, like, dude, you have to add back more calories. You're going to keep losing. And I'm not like mad to lose a few more pounds, whatever. But that has been, it's a different mindset, shift a little bit to go from lose. I mean, even though I was eating all normal things and within the calories or whatever, but now, like, if I don't want to keep losing, which sounds crazy, I have to add back calories. So that's why I lost a few more the first month. And now I'm today actually starting into month 3, which is crazy. I've gone 2 months, kept it off, which is the longest ever with any weight loss in my life. Because, like I said, the other things I would just go back to eating recklessly.
So what do you tell me? What's the difference? What's the difference this time?
I think a lot of people want Noom to tell you exactly what to eat, but I feel like it's important to note that it's more about the mindset that they're helping you change, and like your relationship with food and like how you view food. And yes, they do teach you things about like caloric density and like how to eat things that'll fill you up better versus like, candy bar that's going to leave you full, like a bunch of calories and still hungry in 20 minutes versus, all the other things you could have eaten that would keep you full. But
Yeah.
I think once you can lock down like the mindset change and like change that part, like the food is the easy part. And it's like almost mindless in a way. Like you don't have to think about it. Those are easy decisions every day. You just really, for me, that was what was different, was focusing on like the changing of the habits and, getting why I had excuses that I had, or, oh, I'm a nurse, I work night shift, I can't, but really it's about the change and like wanting to make the time for it. So I think that to me was different. That's why this is all different this time.
So what were, and maybe you can comment too, Steve, what were some of the biggest mind changes? And maybe let me just back up for a minute. So the Noom weight loss app that the three of us have used to lose a combined 372 pounds.
Can you believe that?
Crazy.
That's full-grown people.
Right?
That's just crazy. But the app that we've used to do this, I think was different for all of us than anything we'd done before. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Emily, with it's the mindset and these daily little lessons that kind of come up on your phone or your app when you're using the plan. They are very research based, which I love because I'm such a kind of, I'm an analytical thinker in a way, and I like facts. And so they use research to sort of talk about like why we do the things we do. So maybe we could each share one of those lessons that maybe had an impact on you early on and helped change your mindset. Was there one or two that you can think of that you learned that are just kind of mind blowing for you, or something that you did differently?
So this one is kind of food related, and maybe it's just my takeaway from it, and I've said it to y'all before, like thinking of when you go to eat something, like you're not thinking this is the last time I'm ever going to see it. Like you don't have to eat, a bucket of popcorn because you're never going to be able to have popcorn again in your life. Like just know popcorn is always going to be there. You can have a little bit now and enjoy it and not feel full and, gross and all the things. And if you are the type of person that eats popcorn every day, like you can fit it in. Like you can have something that you love every single day as long as you learn how to do it in balance and moderation. But I think that, and then the whole take home of balance and moderation, everything is fine. There's nothing good or bad, but everything is fine in balance and moderation. And you just have to
that's really good.
Bring that in.
And I want to build off of something else you said too. Recognizing, one of the things Noom taught us to do is recognize. Okay, so let's say that you did, blow your calorie budget that day. How did you feel at the end of the day? Let's take a minute and just kind of reflect. Well, I had that big chicken fried steak with mashed potatoes and gravy, and I feel really full and kind of heavy and icky. And do I like the way that makes me feel? No. So then you kind of remember that for the next time when you're faced with that maybe I don't want that much of it, or maybe I want to do a smaller portion, or maybe I want to not even have that and try something else because I want to feel better at the end. So it sort of helped me stand back and look objectively at what I was eating and doing.
Yeah. I think one of the behavior changes that I did that was really helpful to me was just resisting temptation. Because I've just always said I can't lose weight because I don't have any willpower. I don't have any motivation. I don't know how people do that. How do people walk by the box of donuts in the break room and not take one? Like that's just never been me. I've never had what I would call willpower. And I think what Noom showed me is that I do have control over my behaviors and actions. And one of the early on exercises that we did was to put out a bowl or a bag of chips or whatever it is your weakness, candy. I think we had Halloween candy, once. And it was to put that out on the counter, open it up, and walk by it every day for a week.
And go up and down the aisles of the grocery stores with all the goodies,
That's a big one.
all those things,
that was I know,
and
that
not buy anything.
It's such a little exercise, but and when I read it, I was like, why would we do that? Like that does not make sense to me. to walk up and down the cookie and the chip aisle and not buy anything. But by doing that, every time we went to the grocery store, now granted, we haven't really been to the grocery store in like
a while,
6 months, but when we were going into the grocery store, going up and down every single aisle and having that, what Noom would call exposure, was so helpful because now I can honestly like go buy things without, it's not that I do it every time, but I know that I have the power within me to resist something that's maybe a temptation that's not in my food budget that day. And that has been just, I mean, that's a behavior change that, you know, it's something that I continue to practice.
And we got more steps.
And you get more steps. But Steve even took pictures. Remember,
so another thing that Noom mentioned was if you do resist a temptation, take a picture of it. There's a big plate of cookies at this open house we were at, again, before the pandemic, and they look beautiful, but I took a picture of it and didn't take a cookie. But then I can always go back and remind myself, look, I did have the strength to do this sometime. Here's this album of pictures of things I did not eat that tempted me that I could beat. So that was another way to do that. And, you know, with the holidays coming, there's a question.
Regina Tucker.
Said, you know, with the holidays coming, how do you maintain willpower with all the smells and with others eating? So those are some ideas. And I would just say, again, plan ahead. You know?
Plan ahead. We had Thanksgiving at our house last year. And so I kind of planned what my calorie budget was going to be. And one thing I like to do around special days, it's a big special meal or a wedding or a holiday, is I will make sure that I stay right at the low end of my calorie budget the day before and the day after. And then if I go over a little bit on the day of, it sort of equals out during the week. And so maybe I'll stay right at 1,200 calories the day before Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, but I'll have 1,800 the day of. And we've gone through all the holidays. We have not gained weight through the holidays.
We never saw a holiday bump. So that's one thing you can do. And recognizing that Thanksgiving's a special day, you're with your family, and it's okay.
How about you, Emily?
I was just going to say, I fully intend to have a little bit of everything. I think that's perfectly fine, as long as you, again, yes, I'll see it again next year. That brown rice at Thanksgiving dinner, or that dressing, or the pumpkin pie. Like, now I just know that's where I'll get it versus going to Costco and getting like the 87-inch pumpkin pie and putting it in my fridge for 3 weeks, you know? Like, you just figure out how. I just had a birthday, and I was just like, it was a couple weeks after I reached my goal, and I was like, man, I'm going to have this, and I'm going to have this, and I had a lot of the things that I had been saying, oh, I'm going to have, and it wasn't that I hadn't had them in the whole time, but I just kind of went at it like, it's my birthday. And I literally, I enjoyed it in the moment, but real talk, afterwards, I was just like, ugh. And it's a reminder I don't eat like that anymore. Like, and it took me a couple of days to like get back to feeling normal again and back to like my regular eating, which is now what it should be versus what it used to be. And it gave me that perspective of seeing, wow, I used to eat like that all the time, and I didn't realize I felt like poo. But
exactly.
That's how we bought some chips for someone who was coming to stay with us once.
Yeah, and so we bought these little bags of chips, and I thought I was at my goal. I'm going to have a bag of Doritos with my sandwich today for lunch because I got the calories, and I did. And I finished my sandwich and the bag of Doritos, and I thought to myself, I wish I would have had an apple because I would have felt more full. Yep. It would have tasted better, and the Doritos really weren't all that. They
don't even taste as good anymore.
No, they just don't.
It's so weird how your taste change when you season food with seasoning versus like a pound of cheese, or not that you can't have cheese, but like actually tasting the food is so different versus just processed and convenient, which again, I mean, we all use convenience food at some point. It's not that it's off limits, but taking the time for like the prep and actually cooking, and it's just it's so different. Like that's still crazy to me. But like every day I'm like, wow.
So what are some of your favorite ways to season food, or what has there been anything that's kind of been an eye opener? You mentioned the cinnamon.
I use a lot of my sweet potatoes and my overnight oats. I've like pretty much bought stock in this when I mentioned the McCormick pink Himalayan sea salt. It's like garlic and pepper. It's so good. But that's good on everything. Chicken, fish, pork is my favorite. Potatoes, veggies, anything like that. I use like McCormick Montreal steak seasoning or Montreal chicken seasoning. They have like a burger seasoning. Honestly, even just sometimes all you need is salt and pepper. I mean, even like fish, a little lemon, little zest. Oh my gosh. So simple.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, we've got a few.
Let's say we've also discovered, like with salad dressings, in the beginning we switched to the Olive Garden light Italian because it's 15 calories a tablespoon, so that's really good that way. And in the beginning, 2 tablespoons just didn't seem like enough for our salads. And now
you measured out that little tablespoon. I was
that's all I get. And now we maybe do a tablespoon. Maybe if we're feeling
a long way.
Crazy, because I don't want that much. I like the taste of the lettuce and the veggies that I'm getting. That's not just.
Can you believe you're saying this? Do you remember how you used to
salad dressing?
Do you remember how you used to whine? A salad. You know what he used to say at the beginning? My jaw hurts.
Oh,
so exhausting to chew.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Anyway,
well, let's do a couple more questions here. We've got a few. How about Abby Duncan's question? Have you had your blood work numbers? How has your blood work been affected by your weight loss? Have you noticed a big change in health?
I would say for me, I absolutely have. My fasting blood sugar went down. It was 106 pre-diet and 89 the last time I had it done. So, and my cholesterol, everything else, they're all a lot better. And I don't take Tums all the time either. I used to eat Tums regularly and haven't needed an antacid in over a year.
Yeah, that's a big change. Yeah, my blood work is good. My glucose numbers went down probably at least 10 points. I have had some issues with my cholesterol, and my doctors are still trying to figure it out because it's a little odd that some of the numbers have gone up when I'm not eating fried foods or butter and some other things. But they also feel like with some of the other health issues that I have could be affecting that, as well as just losing 110 pounds. A lot of my numbers are just kind of all over the board. They're high, they're low. And so they want to just see when I stop losing weight, see how that evens out. And
you're probably in shock. Your numbers are like, what just happened?
Yeah, your body's like,
I think they are a little bit. So that'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. How about you, Emily?
So for me, I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes last April. My A1C was like 7 something, but now it's 4. So I'm no longer pre-diabetic.
Wow.
And they put me on metformin, which is 4 pills a day, and also an injectable that was once a week. That was super fun. And then, like I mentioned, I had the high blood pressure. I was on 4 blood pressure medicines. Now I'm on 0. And the only other thing, I used to take Prilosec like every single day for years. I don't take that anymore. And the only other thing I have is thyroid, which is it was low. But they've lowered my dose since I've lost weight. So I'm on like a pretty low dose considering I was on a higher dose before. But I don't think I'll ever be off that one completely. But that's fine. And I always said, if I had diabetes or high blood pressure and it wasn't because of my weight, like that's one thing, because there is a genetic component that you can't get rid of necessarily.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to be diabetic or hypertensive because I was overweight, and it turns out I was. So I got rid of those.
Yeah, that's just amazing. So let's talk as we kind of finish up. We've got about 14 more minutes here in this hour, but let's talk a little bit about how has your just lifestyle changed since losing this weight and getting healthier?
So obviously, the pandemic has put a damper on my travel plans. I was actually supposed to be in Ireland as we speak. I had a cruise planned next month. Whatever, it's fine. Life goes on, and that's not what's important. We're all healthy and safe, so that matters. But it's crazy, just even in general life, like getting up and not being tired all the time, and being able to go and just go for a run to start my day, and how like good and like accomplished you feel just for that. But then of course there's buying new clothes that I never thought I could wear, buying clothes off the rack, which is crazy. On my birthday trip, I went in a boutique and bought something like just right there. It was so weird because I've always had to go online or, do you have any that size in the back? And so that was interesting. But just that overall, like I've never been like a depressed person or anything like that, but I knew I was living my best life, but like I didn't know my best life could be even better. And I think that is so crazy to me. I never let the weight hold me back per se, but it's better than it was even, which is just mind blowing. So I have no complaints. I have no regrets. I just wish I had done it sooner. I wish I think with weight loss, you have to be ready. Like you can tell someone, oh, do this, do this, do this. But until that person is ready themselves, like it doesn't matter what you tell them, they have to be ready. So I think that's a big thing too, because you're not going to change your mindset or anything if your mindset's not ready. So
yeah,
that's important. But I guess I had been ready sooner or found the way.
Well, I can't even tell you how many times during this talk at age 51, how many times I've been listening to you just during this hour and said, I wish I would have done this when I was in my 30s like Emily, or I wish I would have done this in my 20s. So, it really does go to show you at whatever age you
my
start.
My skin might have been a little more elastic.
Yeah, let me tell you, it doesn't get any easier when you get older, does it?
No.
So kudos to you for doing this in your 30s. We're just so proud of you. Steve, what kind of lifestyle changes have you seen?
I feel like I think I sleep better. I think I'm exercising more. I go out and I run now 3 or 4 days a week, and I've enjoyed that. I just feel more spry. I'm able to get down the stairs more easily. Working in the yard isn't a chore, or it is a chore, but it's not as much of a chore.
Right.
I don't know. I just think that I just feel better in general, and that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just easier. I can tie my shoes without losing my breath.
Yeah. I used to look at one of the things I'm really excited to do, and it's like all the things I dreamt about doing when I was at a more healthy weight or healthy person. It's like I'm not like I can't wait to get on an airplane and be able to buckle the seatbelt. I can't wait to go on a cruise and sign up for the strenuous shore excursion.
Yes.
I have not been able to buy a Nebraska football T-shirt that fit
and wear it to a game.
And all these things I can't do. So
now that you can,
I will never take for granted those opportunities. But I think for me, one of the things that's been it's been a huge change for me is just the mindset. Like when I looked at myself in the mirror in this 303-pound body, which is what I started at. I just didn't feel it was me. Like I felt like it didn't fit my personality. It didn't fit my goals. It didn't fit like who I was. And it's not that it was a bad thing, but I just didn't feel it was the real me. And so losing this weight I just feel like this is the skin I was meant to be in, kind of. It's more, it just fits me better. And it may not be that way for everybody. I know a lot of people who are very comfortable, and that's awesome. But for me, it's made me feel better. I think being more in control, not feeling out of control has been a big, just life-changing benefit for me. And knowing that I do have control. There's so much about my health and my some of the chronic health immune issues that I have that I don't have a lot of control over. And when I decided that I'm going to control the things I can control, that's been really, really helpful to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important because, it'd be one thing if, obviously, we, us, whatever, overweight for years and years. And like, that was just what it was. But I feel like at a certain point you decide like, it's not, it is what it is. Like you can do something about it. And I mean, I think the health issues are the thing that like turned my mind maybe like, okay, I knew it was coming probably, but it wasn't until it actually happened that I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But if it's some like if you could be overweight and like healthy forever, like sure, let's all do it. Because I mean, who doesn't like to eat endlessly all day long? Me, sure, but I don't know. It's just such a change, and I wouldn't go back ever. So
Yeah. So one of the questions that we've gotten from a lot of people, and we've kind of started on this, but how do you stay motivated when you're plateauing or it's not coming off as quickly as you'd like it to? What tips do each of you have for just kind of getting those through those times when either it's a slump, it's a plateau, or you're just plain bored with it?
Mm-hmm. I think for me, anytime it like slowed down, I would always just zoom out on that weight graph and look at the big picture that it was overall, it was a downward trend because, and we've talked about, the daily fluctuations. You're going to have daily ups and downs based on, sodium intake, or say you incorporated fast food yesterday because it was needed to happen, whatever, based on your schedule. Like it's fine. I think overall, that was a good big picture item to help. And then there's always, I think most important is water. Drink your water. Make sure you're doing your best to get good sleep. Obviously, stress is life, and like life is stressful. So like that, you learned how to deal with that better, and especially given this whole pandemic business. But then, if you feel bored, just remember, no foods are off limits. So maybe if you have something you've been eating every day for breakfast, maybe switch it up and just variety.
You motivated me to put more peanut butter in my diet.
Every day. And every day I eat peanut butter. Like, I'm not playing with you. It has to be extra crunchy, though. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Important.
Going on the Walmart grocery pickup.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the crunchy peanut butter.
What about you, Steve? How do you kind of get through the monotony?
The monotony, or the sort of a plateau time. Like a plateau, it's like, what? Maybe my body's gotten used to this, maybe whatever. So I'm going to change things up. And so instead of eating toward a lower end of my calorie range, take a day and go toward the higher end and then come back down a little bit. It's okay. You're not gonna, there's sort of in Noom, there's a good range. So just go to the higher end of that good range, or change up the number of calories you're eating, but stick within the plan, just follow the plan, and just understand that weight loss is stupid and it doesn't go smoothly. It is not linear. It goes up, it goes down, it stays the same. And all of a sudden one day, because I've been on a plateau and it's so frustrating, and a plateau is 2 weeks or more at the same weight. And I've been on those and it's frustrating. And all of a sudden one day it just starts to go away again. I don't know why, but all of a sudden you wake up and you hop on the scale and you're down 2 pounds. Like, whoa.
I've gone down the last couple of days. I gained like 8 pounds last week during my surgery, and being in the hospital, I'm not sure, maybe it's fluids or salt.
We were doing takeout dinners and stuff. So
I don't know what, but now it's dropping off again. But that's one of the things that I've liked with Noom about weighing every day. And when we started, I was very against weighing every day. I didn't even like to get on the scale once a year. So to do it every day was like, ugh. But I have enjoyed that now, and I weigh every single day. Even when we travel, we take a scale with us because I like to see the ups and downs. Now, when I went up, I got on the scale the other day, I was up 6 pounds. 6 pounds in one day after surgery. And I was like, no big deal.
Because that's not real. You didn't eat, 80,000 calories or whatever it would take to get 6 pounds.
Yeah, so I actually kind of like doing it every day now because I can see the up and down. But then again, zoom out from that and see the progression downward. So that's been good. Yeah.
I like seeing my line now is this, and now it's this. So it's staying flat. Up and down, but flat. So I'm like, I like it.
Isn't that awesome? Well, Emily, you have been I can't even tell you how inspiring you've been to us and to so many others I know who have seen your Instagram.
It's in the comments.
I want to remind people, you can put the banner on there, Steve. Emily's got a great Instagram account where she's kind of documented some of her successes and struggles and everything. So you can follow her over on Instagram at m.gonzo. And I'd really encourage you to do that as well. You can follow us on Instagram as well at Postcard Jar. And we'll be writing more and sharing some recipes and other just insights from our healthy living journey on our blog at postcardjar.com.
And there are a number of recipes there right now. We're getting into the fall and soup season. We've got some good soups there as well.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a scale or you're looking for some other things, like a kitchen scale is very handy to have. Our Amazon store is at Amazon.com/shop/postcardjar.
Yeah, you can put that in the comments or something.
Yeah, I will.
But we just want to say thank you, Emily, so much for taking the time. These are all such great, helpful hints. And, but the bottom line is that you are just a joyful person to talk with, to be around. And I just cannot tell you how proud we are of everything that you've accomplished with your healthy lifestyle journey. It's pretty darn amazing. One of the most incredible weight loss journeys I've ever seen. So we wish you all the success in maintaining this weight and this new lifestyle that you have. And you're going to have so many great travels and experiences that are just going to be even better now. So if you have additional questions for any of us, you can just put those in the comments, and we'll make sure that three of us kind of look those over the next few days and give you some answers to your questions.
If you're watching this on replay, we aren't going to forget about you. You can still ask your questions.
Yeah. And maybe we'll do this again, 6 months down the road or something and see where we're all at. And maybe I'll be a little closer to my goal weight by then. So.
You will. Thank y'all for having me too. Like, I found y'all on the Noom's page, and the fact that y'all are doing this while living my dream is just traveling. So y'all inspire me just as much as I inspire y'all. Trust me.
Oh,
so,
thank you so much. As we found out, Noom is kind of a big family, and
it's a Noomily.
It's a Noomily.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. So we're thankful for that. Thankful for the app. Thankful for the Mayo Clinic Healthy Living program that helped us. Thankful for your trainer, your online trainer. It does take a community to sort of
absolutely
provide that support,
keep us all going. And then, of course, all of you that watch this and follow along. And
as far away as New Zealand, even.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. So we're all in this together. And like we've said before, we hope that we can just give you a little bit of inspiration to take the next step on your journey, whatever that might be, whether it's travel or just developing a more healthy lifestyle, whatever that is, know that it's just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, and you can do it. So
absolutely.
Thank you all for joining us. And again, Emily, I want to say thank you for what you are doing as one of our essential healthcare workers. Our country owes you an incredible amount of gratitude. So you stay well, stay healthy, and we hope
y'all
to see you again soon. So,
of course.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.